Testing, testing. Hmm. Looking good. All right. Sounding good. So I can take that off. All right, hello. Welcome to Short Stories with Ron. I'm Ron. This is a short story. I'm not seeing my cursor there. Oh, there it is. Okay. That's my short story. So far. So my plan for this series is to hopefully write a short story every stream. I have a habit of kind of starting it and then, wandering off and then starting some Binding of Isaac and then going to make some food, and not this time. I'm just going to take what I have, write a full story, stop. And if I go for 2 hours and I'm not even close to done, I'll just stop and, be less, put less on my plate for the next one. Maybe I'll do it in every 2 streams, or I'll do it when I have more time. But whatever. This is an idea that came to me just this morning when I was kind of deciding whether to try to get back to sleep or get up. And the main idea is it's like a fairy society, ostensibly. And the fairies look down upon the pixies, which are this other group that they don't live near them, but they're aware of them. And they're like smaller and they're weaker and they're feeble-minded and all the problems. If you're reading ahead, you know where I'm going with this. So I don't know why I'm making it such a mystery. But then, it's going to follow one fairy who's actually a pixie. And so he struggles, he tries to hide that fact. And he works extra hard to fit in with the other fairies so that they don't find out he's a bloody pixie. But then the bottom line is that turns out they're all pixies, and the whole fairy pixie thing was just created by the establishment, by the the monarchy, the king, the whatever the leaders are, to try to force people to work harder. I have the pixie's name is Morindel. It sounds kind of like one of the Tolkien elves, but maybe it'll change. The nice thing is I can just find and replace if I want to change the name. So yeah, I'll just make kind of a note to say where the actual story starts. All right. The current resolution is not optimal. What is optimal? Video. I'll change it next time, I guess. Open widget. What does not optimal mean? Whatever, I'll do it next time. Okay. This is the story of Morindel. Morindel was, unbeknownst to everyone around him, a pixie. And life for him was an unending toil to keep that fact unbeknownst. You see, Morindel lived in Aeron. Why not? Aeron. The kingdom of the fairies. And in Aeron, I'll probably change that, but let's call it that for now. Oh, side note, I'm like a bad writer, so if you're watching this trying to pick up tips, don't, because I got none for you. Okay? Trust me. Pixies are not exactly popular. Quite the contrary, in fact. Also, but the way my brain works is I'll like think of a sentence 4 sentences later, and I'll want to write that down before I finish this paragraph. So if you see me jumping around, that's why. No, I forget what I was about to say. When though it had been a great many generations since the last pixie was last known pixie lived in Aeron. Stories of their frailty and weak-mindedness endured. In fact, became even more common and even more venomous. So in this case, even more common and even more venomous. On the one hand, it sounds too repetitive, but on the other hand, I kind of like the repetition. I don't know. Sometimes the repetition feels good. That should go later. They were seen as lazy dimwits. Unable and unwilling to put in the work needed to succeed. Gotta try not to be too on the nose. That's why they were eventually outcompeted by the much stronger, much smarter fairy folk. Gonna have to change that sentence. I feel like outcompeted is way too technical or, you know, science-y a word. There would have been a great many generations since the last known pixie lived in Aeron. Stories of their frailty and weak-mindedness endured, and in fact became even more common and even more venomous. Stories told of miserly pixie kings hoarding all the riches, the admittedly meager riches gained by the pixie commoners. Should I start at the commoners? So I told should I, if I started, because I could start at the commenters and work my way up. Their feeble wings, hardly able to lift them from the ground. They told of because the stories need to be like morality tales. And being like, you don't want to be a pixie, do you? They told of... No, I don't want... They told of... lazy... pixie... What's the word? What's the word for... Ah, jeez. I'm so tired. It's not warden. It's... It's like the leader of a work camp. Ah. God, this is killing me. Okay, it'll come to me. It'll come to me. Okay. Blank. Floppy noodles, ill-equipped for manual labor. In their doomed attempt to produce resources, they managed to only scrape by, leading to their minds. This could perhaps have been overcome had they not been equally weak in equally feeble of spirit, unable to push themselves beyond what was comfortable. Which only scrap leading to untold poverty. Told of lazy pinky. Oh man, I was so close. Foreman! Right? I'm using that word right. Right? Yes! I'm so smart. I'm so smart. Okay. Who sat by and allowed their underlings to laze about. Thinking it a kindness. This. This is yet another weakness of their people. Without push them. Complacent. Finishing their chores altogether. Tales even told of miserly pixie kings hoarding all the admittedly meager riches gained by the pixie commoners, forcing the population to live in squalor. This, however, has changed. I feel like there's got to be a bit more there, so I'll leave some room. When the fairies arrived. Is there a war? Or do we just say it was another faction? They wouldn't want it to be another faction. Okay. Let's just keep it vague. In a very short time, pixies were driven out of Aeron. In a humanly short time, makes sense, as they weren't human. The pixies were driven out of Aeron. To oversee the strong hand. Tough hands, strong backs, and I need another word for strong. Powerful minds of the fairies. Under used there to work the fields with much greater ferocity, as if fighting for their lives, which they were. When their strength failed them, they buckled down and pushed. Breaking through any physical barrier they may come across. When their will failed them, as even the strongest wills do from time to time, fairy foreman would inspire them to work ever harder through some at physical, which would be seen as cruel, feeble pixies. And the fairies were inspired to. I shouldn't use inspired twice, but I like it there. Let's thesaurus this bad boy. Motivate. Nah. I'm gonna have a seat. Hello. Okay. Work on. Push past their previous limits. Gotta mention the wings in there. Powerful wings. Strong synonym. Let's go with sturdy. seldom thinking to strongest of wills to some of which led to a time of prosperity, of continued prosperity. Oh, gotta mention the king. All right, so here's the question. Do we make the Pixies like a communist utopia that is being described dishonestly by capitalists? Because we could say, because I'm of two minds. My initial plan was to have the Pixie Kings be miserly and that these kings are very generous, but they're not actually. Which I'm still kind of leaning towards. The other option is to say that the Pixie Kings were very generous, but foolish. I'm going to write that at the top. Just in case. Because even if I do finish this today, I'll be going back and, editing and changing some things. Although I do have a kind of a problem where I don't like changing what I've already written. I get attached to it. Also, yeah, I'm talking a little quietly just to try to save my voice for other stuff. So if you're wondering why I'm kind of talking, yeah. Also, I don't have my headphones on, so they kind of keep me honest sometimes because I can't hear my voice right now. Except how everyone hears their voice. Man, I did not sleep well last night. I apologize. Okay, back to the story. In turn, so for now, I'll just say that these ones are being generous, but they're not actually. The king, the great fairy king, Aslandus. I don't know. Is that Aslan? Is that where that comes from? I don't know. I really don't like that name. I want it to be Asmondus, but that sounds too much like Ozymandias. Ozymandias? Ozymandias, King of Kings. Whatever. No, that's terrible. I forget what it's called. Oh yeah, God's Favorite Idiot. Pretty good show. Terrible ending to the first season. But there's like a LARPing group where they make fun of how so many fantasy things start with G. And my goodness, is it ever true? Whenever I try to think of a name, I almost always it starts with a G. And I'm trying to move past that. All right. Gandalf, Galadriel. I ran out. Glamdring, Galahad, Gawain. Anyway, in turn, the great furry king, wise and good as he was, ensured that the resources were put to good use. Plentiful resources. Collected by his subjects, put to good use. For the good of all. His generosity became known throughout the land, and in some short years, society became prosperous. Oh, well, we got there. A little too close. Swiftly thrust into a new age. From the poorest paupers to the richest nobles. Oh. Oh, I'm a sleepy boy. You see, this is about when I would quit. Take a break. I'm going to push through for you guys. Okay. 209. Where was I? I'm down. I tooted. I'm a little stuck. How is he gonna find out? How does he know he's a pixie? Should I just breathe into the mic for another hour? How does he find out he's a pixie? One option is that his parents told him. Maybe most other pixie families kind of just... No, because if his parents knew they were pixies, if his parents knew that they were pixies, or his whatever ancestor knew that they were pixies enough to pass it down, would also know that everybody else was a pixie. So how do I get his family to know that his family's pixies without realizing that everybody else is one too? Because they can't know that they all come from the same stock. That's got to be a surprise. Because that's kind of like the whole point of the short story. I'm really fighting myself. Oh, maybe I should have done this when I was a little more awake. I'm finding myself drifting a lot. Maybe this would be better. Hey. Hey, plebeian peasant. I was about to say, this would be better if I had any damn viewers. I got one. Pixie lives do matter. But not in Iron, apparently. But yeah, that's certainly the part of the analogy. Partly racism, partly capitalism. I'm coming off like a real socialist, I suppose. Which I'm not. But capitalism ain't perfect. Okay. Alright. Gotta come up with something. What luxuries the new society made? I'll figure that out later. How did he learn he was a pixie? These stories had been told to Morindell all his life. He tried not to let them affect him. He told himself that he wasn't like those pixies. He was strong. He could push himself to keep up with those around him. However, it was a constant struggle as things which usually to his compatriots, is that only with war? Is compatriot only with war? fellow citizen or national of a country, so I guess not. However, it was a constant struggle, as things which came easily to his compatriots took a great deal of effort from Morindel. At times, he barely managed to hold in his grimace as he flapped his... I need to have like a... I'm going to be using the words like weak so much. Puny's a good one. True. For whom flying was... I like this bit a lot. Him kind of holding in how much he's struggling, because he looks around and sees a bunch of other people who don't seem to be struggling, when in fact they're all struggling as much as him, is something that I really relate to and hope is true, because sometimes it really does feel like I'm struggling a lot more than everybody else. What you gonna do? Gotta finish this bit. Try not to let the stories of his people's weakness affect him. He told himself that he wasn't like those pixies. He was strong. He could push himself to keep up with those around him. However, it was a constant struggle. As things which came easily to his compatriots took a great deal of effort for Morindel. I feel like from might be the better word, but I think it's for. In his grimace as he flapped his puny wings to fly alongside his friends, and later his co-workers, for whom flying was a piece of cake. Okay, sorry. Wife sent me a photo. Okay. Ooh, that helped. I really needed that tea. All right. So I'm a little worried. I think I may have chosen the wrong story to try to do live, because this is one that I'm going to need to think about a lot, because it actually has like deeper meanings. So I think I'm going to cut this off here, work on this one on my own time, and then next time I do one of these, I'm going to do a simpler one that I can kind of just make up as I go along, and it'll come out nice and easy. But I will say, I've been going 45 minutes, got like a page, and like a hard page, like a page of setup. So hopefully next time I go back to writing this, it'll be easier to continue. So hey, thanks for watching, especially to, what was your name? Something plebeian peasant. Thank you for watching. And yeah. Hey, if you guys want to see more of this, subscribe. Although, so far I haven't really given you much reason to. I've given you a page. Although it's been a pretty good page. I will say, if you think that what I've written so far is really bad, stop watching, because it's actually not bad, and it takes. I need to like something a good deal to say I like it. So I actually quite like this story. Oh, also, I'm going to be uploading one soon called Nick, which pisses me off. Because, okay, I came up with this idea like 2 years ago, and I've been playing around with it for ages, and then I finally wrote the short story a few weeks ago, and it's basically about like a Santa who's a violent good fighter. And then, and even in my mind, it was going to be played by David Harbour or Arbor. I think it's Harbour. Is it Harbour? David Harbour. Yeah, David. Even in my mind, it was going to be played by David Harbour. And then, like, what, last week or 2 weeks ago, turns out there's a movie where he's playing a violent Santa. So I'm very pissed off. So I'll be uploading Nick Part 1 soon, because I got to get that out before this comes out, or else it'll look like I copied it. So yeah, I'm very annoyed by that. But again, what you gonna do? Maybe by the time I get the movie made, I'll be old enough to be Santa myself. Ho ho ho. All right. Thank you again for watching. Take care. Stay classy.